After receiving a number of complaints from students and members of the community, the Montgomery County Board of Education has launched a review to figure out whether some schools in the county are named after slave owners. Inez De La Quatara reports.
Just outside of Thomas Wootton High School, a sign that delves into the history of the school's namesake. It explains Wootton was a member of Maryland's first Congress, but nowhere does it mention he may have been a slave owner.
No, I had no idea that this was named, going into the slave period.
It turns out at least 6 schools in Montgomery County may have been named after slave owners. Montgomery Blair High, Francis Scott Key Middle, Colonel Zadok Magruder High, Richard Montgomery High, John Poole Middle, and Thomas Wootton High. The Montgomery County School Board is conducting a review to figure out if that's the case.
It's important because we have history that we have to wrestle with and a community that we have to hear from. And it's especially important because as a board we respond to our electorate, the people who have elected us in the neighborhoods that we represent.
The review was launched in February after the school board says community members voiced concerns over the name of Colonel E. Brookley Middle School. Brookley was a segregationist.
And you have people which have came from difficult ancestries, people which have had difficult pasts that now have to live in a reality that is really harsh to live through, being that they have family members that have went through so much and so much deep history in America. And so those are the things that students are bringing up to us as well.
The review will likely be completed in the fall, at which point the school board will vote on possible next steps. One option, they say, will likely be to rename the schools.
Absolutely, the name should be changed. We are in 2019 and society, the way society is, we do need to change.
And that could have significant repercussions. Montgomery County is itself named after Richard Montgomery, who is believed to have been a slave owner. In Rockville, Inez De La Quatara, WUSA 9.
Now, the group conducting the review includes members of the MCPS board, historians, and researchers from the University of Maryland.